The NFL is a big people league, and that's why when an offense sees only two down defensive linemen, they start licking their chops. That is until they play the Broncos.
Set, go!
The Denver defense plays with only two down linemen on a third of their defensive snaps, by far the highest rate in the league, more than double the next closest team. The Broncos' rendition of nickel 245 helps them hold offenses to a league best negative .121 EPA per play. The secret sauce of this sub package is their perfectly suited personnel. Before we dive deep into the film, if you like this kind of breakdown, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more. Remember to send Off the Edge to a friend who thinks they know ball, and let me know which defense you want to see next. And with that, let's look at the more stereotypical 4-2-5 nickel that most defenses play so we can compare it to the Broncos 2-4-5. This alignment that you see here from the Patriots is a lot more common for the modern NFL. You got your four down defensive linemen, so you can still play and stuff the run, your two linebackers, and you see your five defensive backs spread across the field. If we let this roll a little bit, you see we still play tough against the run. We've got some pushback here from the defensive line. We have our linebackers flowing. We're still kind of playing 3-over-2 in most situations. We've got coverage on the back end if it happens to be play action or RPO, and we end up holding this to a minimal gain. Compare the Patriots personnel and alignment to what we see here out of the Broncos, which is two down defensive linemen. And although it looks like their edge rushers here are linemen as well, they are not. This is a linebacker in Jonathan Cooper and Nick Bonito. And one of the major advantages you get out of a 2-4-5 versus the 4-2-5 is this presence on the edge. And you'll notice it right away with Jonathan Cooper blowing off the ball and beating this offensive tackle. And Cam Ward definitely notices it as he's getting up off the ground. The Broncos really trust this personnel package, and it shows because of their use of it in high leverage situations. This is a 3rd and 3 against the Cincinnati Bengals, and you see this double mug look that they're walking up in. They've got actually two of their linebackers up in each A gap, and then Jonathan Cooper around the edge and Nick Bonito around the edge. At the snap of the ball, though, they're going to do something very different. They're going to be dropping out these mug blitzers and as well as one of their defensive tackles into a little bit of a spy, and they're only going to rush 3. But you see the confusion it creates for the offensive line. And right away, these edge rushers, because of the angles and because of the personnel being linebackers instead of beefy defensive linemen, they create what's known as a meeting at the quarterback. Let's take a look at the end zone view of this play, where again, you see both of our linebackers walked up in this sort of double mug in the A gap. I also want to highlight how much space there is here between each of these edge rushers and the offensive tackles. Even if the offensive tackles were going to go out right away and play these guys, which the offense is trying to figure out protection here, you see people looking all different directions, trying to figure out what's going on with this front. But even if the offensive tackles did step out right away, look at how much further behind they are. I mean, Cooper already has this shoulder ducked a little bit. You can tell this offensive tackle is trying to get out there, but he's going to be slow to do it. And Benito's already dipping that shoulder a little bit as well. With, again, the same story where this tackle, you can tell, is just galloping, trying to catch up to the speed along this edge, and Jake Browning just has no chance at all. The thing that makes this so difficult to deal with is the Broncos' use of various different coverages and schemes out of it. Here you actually see them line up in a similar sort of double mug setup before eventually dropping out of it here close to the snap of the play, but they also confuse Justin Herbert with split field coverage. And what's going to happen here is at the top end of the field, you're going to be getting some sort of zone. I think a cover 4 variation on this side. But on the bottom, you're going to see guys manned up. This linebacker on the running back and Patrick Surtain on Quentin Johnson. And the Broncos do this a lot where they put Patrick Surtain out here on the best receiver and just zone up everywhere else. And you see Justin Herbert has some time in the pocket, but he's confused. Things start to break down. And eventually we end up getting a sack here on Herbert to end the play. That previous play was a 3rd down, but the Broncos will also show some funky stuff on 1st down. We got a motion coming across here from the offense, who's eventually going to try to block Nick Bonito on the edge, and you'll see how that works out. We're also going to bring a slot blitzer here from our 5th DB, and everywhere else we're going to be manned up. And the emergence of Riley Moss allows this, as well as Jaquan McMillian, and then obviously Patrick Surtain, and bringing in Hufunga to play this sort of middle deep safety role has also really helped. So now it's first down and 10. We're going to bring 5. We're going to blitz. We're going to get our matchup down here that we like, Nick Bonito on a pulling tight end or fullback, whatever you want to call that sort of hybrid player with the Chargers. And before Herbert can think and before he can see anyone else open in the middle of the field here, he's going to get decked for another sack. And now we've made it all the way to last week and this Packers game. And you'll notice again right away, we've got our favorite sort of alignment up here in our double mug. And guess what? Jordan Love recognizes that they've played this as well. Now, this is a second down and 8 play. So Jordan Love is either trying to pick up some yards or hit a shot. Maybe he thinks the Broncos are bringing everyone, so he wants to get into some sort of protection. But let this play a little bit longer. The Broncos are going to do something different than we've seen happen before. They're going to bring 5 with a little bit of a stunt. So their D-line is going to kind of pull all the offensive linemen here to the right, trying to force everything that way, with their linebacker kind of looping around. And the Broncos are third in havoc rate, which means they're basically just really disruptive. So over this play out a little bit again, Jordan Love has got pressure in his face. I mean, this is pressure in his face. He's getting hit as he throws the ball. And Wicks is kind of breaking open here, but the ball's just a little bit behind, and the Broncos end up making a huge play with less than 7 minutes to go in the fourth quarter in this game. The Packers did get the ball back, though, with a chance to win, and the Broncos do a couple of things on this 1st and 10 that Jordan Love is probably not expecting. Number 1, they're going to bring pressure off the backside here with a corner and also a linebacker while dropping one of their 4 linebackers, their edge rusher, Jonathan Cooper, into a zone. Probably not expecting that. The other thing that Jordan Love's probably not expecting is zone coverage in the back end. So you see 2 deep here, and Pat Surtain is kind of manned up. This might be like a Meg concept or man everywhere he goes on the backside of a cover 3. The Broncos stereotypically play a ton of man near the top in the league, but they played zone on 30 of 40 snaps against the Packers, and Jordan Love has to chuck this one out of bounds. The Packers did have one last-ditch effort. This is a 4th and 9 near the end of the game, and here the Broncos just decide to rush their usual 4, their 2 outside linebackers, and their 2 D tackles. They're going to drop everyone else. 9 of the 26 pressures that the Broncos generated came with under 7 minutes to play, and by the end here, Jordan Love just has nowhere to go, pocket completely collapsing, nothing open down the field, and this Packers offense is just out of gas playing against the 2-4-5 personnel of the Broncos. The Denver 2-4-5 nickel defense is proving that it isn't about having more or bigger bodies. It's about putting the right ones in the right stress points. If you love these defensive breakdowns, remember to like and subscribe for more, share it with a friend who thinks they know ball, and come engage with us on socials. Off the Edge is a Life in the Stands production. We appreciate all the support, and until next time, defense!